Take you to Aurora. We're gathering new information on what investigators are calling a heinous, complex, and calculated murder.
It's exclusive video of killer dentist James Craig mixing up a poisonous protein shake in his kitchen.
A Colorado dentist accused of poisoning his wife's protein shakes was charged today with her murder.
For 10 days, a Colorado dentist poisoned his wife's protein shakes. Now, doctors could not figure this out, and they had no idea what was going wrong at the time. And while his wife was fighting for her life in the hospital, he walked in her room and gave her the final dose of cyanide. James Craig was a 47-year-old dentist living in Aurora, Colorado, with his wife Angela and their 6 children. Now, to the outside world, they seemed like a perfect family. James ran a dental practice. Angela, 43, was a devoted mother who loved staying active and healthy. She worked out regularly and started every morning the exact same way, with a protein shake. But behind closed doors, James Craig had a little bit of a secret. He was having an affair with a woman he met at a dental convention in Texas. And in early March 2023, he decided his wife was standing in the way of his new life. So he came up with a plan that would have worked if he wasn't incredibly and stunningly stupid. On March 6th, 2023, Angela Craig came home from visiting her sister in Utah. Now, that morning before their workout, James made her a protein shake. He told her he added extra protein because she seemed a bit tired. After their workout, Angela felt violently ill, dizzy, nauseous. Her body wasn't responding right. James took her to the hospital. Doctors ran tests, but couldn't figure out what was going wrong. Her symptoms were consistent with poisoning, but nothing made sense. They treated her and just simply sent her home. But here's the thing, Angela kept getting worse. Every morning after her protein shake, she got sicker and sicker. On March 9th, she was back in the hospital for a 5-day stay. Doctors were completely baffled. How could a healthy 40-year-old woman suddenly experience mysterious symptoms that didn't match any known condition? Now, what Angela didn't know was that her husband has been ordering poison online for weeks. Arsenic poisoning. Now, he had been mixing this into her protein powder since early March. Now, when that didn't kill her fast enough, James got a bit impatient. So, like any loving husband would do, he ordered a different type of chemical online again, but this time it was potassium cyanide, and of course, for a rush delivery. Now, what makes this so incredibly unbelievable is that he used his dental practice account to place this order. Now, the package arrived at his dental office on March 13th, and the thing is, an employee accidentally opened it and saw the label potassium cyanide. Now, James told his staff that it was just for a surgical procedure. However, we all know that was a lie. On March 15th, Angela was admitted to the hospital for the 3rd time. Now, this time, she was in bad shape. Severe headaches, dizziness, her condition rapidly declining. Now, doctors did put her on a ventilator because at this point, they were fighting for her life. And that's when James Craig walked into her hospital room, not to comfort her, not to support her, but to finish what he started.
Authorities say Dr. Craig also administered poison to his wife during her hospitalization. As staff go about their work, Dr. Craig leaves his wife's room and heads into a bathroom. A minute later, he comes out apparently holding a syringe he had loaded with what the prosecutor calls the final fatal dose of cyanide.
Unfortunately, she was declared brain dead. On March 18, 2023, Angela Craig was taken off of life support. She died surrounded by machines and monitors, while also having lethal levels of cyanide and tetrahydrozoline, a chemical found in over-the-counter top eye drops, in her system. Her autopsy also showed toxic levels of arsenic in her blood. She had been systematically poisoned for 10 days straight, and her husband had been there for her the entire time, playing the concerned spouse while he was actually the one slowly killing her. Now, Angela's sister told investigators something very disturbing. Angela had texted James on March 6th saying, "I feel drugged," Angela suspected James might be drugging her, and that was enough for police to take a closer look at James Craig. They pulled his computer records from his dental practice, and what they found was a masterclass of how not to commit murder. Now, if things weren't interesting enough, weeks before Angela died, James had searched how many grams of pure arsenic will kill a human. He also went on YouTube and searched top 5 undetectable poisons that show no signs of foul play. And if that's not unbelievable enough, he also looked up how to make murder look like a heart attack and is arsenic detectable in an autopsy. Now, at this point, police discovered James' affair. He had met a woman named Karen Kane at a dental convention in February 2023. Now, he told her he was divorced and living alone. Now, this is where things get crazy. Between March 8th and 10th, while Angela was in the hospital dying, James flew Karen to Colorado. They had dinner together. They were intimate in their hotel room while his wife was on a ventilator. This man was with his mistress. Now, on March 19th, 2023, one day before Angela died, James Craig was arrested and charged with first-degree murder.
He went in that room to murder, to deliberately and intentionally end her life with a fatal dose of cyanide.
But James wasn't done making terrible decisions. From jail, he tried to cover his tracks. He offered a fellow inmate $20,000 to kill the lead detective investigating his case. He tried to pay people to testify that Angela had been suicidal. He even went as far as to ask one of his daughters to create a deepfake video of Angela saying that she was the one who requested the poisons. The trial lasted 2 weeks in July of 2025. James Craig's defense, he claimed Angela was suicidal, that she had asked him to help her die, that he was just simply fulfilling her wishes. Now, of course, the jury didn't buy it. After deliberating for 8 hours over 2 days, they came back with a verdict: guilty, first-degree murder, and 5 other charges. The judge sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus 33 additional years. So in conclusion, look, James Craig was a dentist. He understood chemistry, toxicology, and how the human body worked. He genuinely thought that he could commit the perfect crime by slowly poisoning his wife and making it look like these mysterious symptoms were just coming out of nowhere and they were some sort of illness. He thought to himself he would then collect the insurance money and run away with his new mistress and start a brand new life. Instead, he left a trail so obvious that prosecutors called it one of the most clear-cut murder cases they've ever seen. And honestly, just like going over all the things that he did, it just blows my mind. He researched poisons on his work computer, ordered cyanide to his dental office, flew his mistress to Colorado while his wife that he was poisoning was dying in the hospital. He murdered her in the hospital, surrounded by doctors and cameras, and then continued to orchestrate more crimes, or at least attempted to orchestrate more crimes while in jail. I think it's more than obvious that Angela Craig deserved better than a husband who valued an affair over her own life. Her 6 children lost both their parents in 1 week, all because James Craig couldn't get a divorce. Or he didn't want to get a divorce. And I think it should be emphasized a bit more that there were children involved in all of this. While all of this mayhem was going on, 6 children were worried about their dying mother, and then they found out that it was their father that orchestrated all of this. Now, also, as you can imagine, these type of stories have so many pieces to them. And one thing that I failed to mention in the beginning was that there was actually a history of James poisoning his wife. This was not the first time. It's not as though like this is something that just came out of the blue. It's something that felt familiar, which I can't fathom how any of this is genuinely real. I just don't know. Now, also with these stories, like I said, there are so many things involved. Now, I will always go ahead in the comments and put all of my sources. So if you want to continue to read on these stories, or, if I'm doing stories that you have to keep up to date, I'll put all my sources down there so that I can help you out doing that. So yeah, go down in the comments. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me about other stories that you would want me to cover. Let's have a conversation.